Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today it's already like, I don't know, midnight or something like that, but I had to charge the batteries for my lights, which you'll only understand this if you saw the video before this one. But anyways, so today I wanted to talk about this really cool experience I had last month, and it was that I got to work at Megacon 2017, specifically Megacon Orlando, because obviously Megacon Tampa hasn't happened yet. So I was an exhibitor. I ended up working for Galactic Toys, which I put a link for them in the description bar. They're pretty popular in the pop world, and it was just overall a super duper great experience. This was obviously a temp job because Galactic Toys is located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So the way it happened was, like, it just came out of nowhere. The owner and boss of Galactic Toys, or at least one of the bosses, wrote a message in one of the pop groups that I belong to. He posted to one of them asking if people would be interested in coming out to help for the show. It wouldn't just be the days of the show. The MegaCon usually runs from Thursday to Sunday, but it would be from Wednesday to Sunday, obviously, to come in and help set up the booth. I want to backtrack a little bit. If you're not familiar with MegaCon, MegaCon is one of the bigger conventions here in Central Florida for anime, manga, comic books, TV, movies, just nerdy goodness in general. And it's one that's been growing a lot over the years. I've only been living in Central Florida for about 3 years now, and every single year it's just been getting bigger. And this year it was pretty big. It was like spanning 2 concourses, and let me just say that the Orlando Convention Center is basically a humongous airport. So I saw that post, and since I'm out of school right now and I'm still looking for work, I said, I'll give it a try, you know, I'll message him. At that point though, I was like, I'm probably not gonna get it because a lot of time had already gone by since he posted it, and I figured that other people in the group would have already jumped on it like that. I mean, thankfully for me, most of those people have regular jobs, so not gonna waste their time doing temp jobs, but still I'm like, someone else already probably jumped on it and I'm not gonna be able to get it. But anyways, I said, I'll just write to him. So I did, and I was like, hey, do you still need people to come help? And he replied pretty quickly. He asked me a bunch of questions. He asked me, you know, if I knew about pops, and I'm like, yeah, I do, but let me just clarify that I don't think that that makes me an expert by any means. I've just been learning about the hobby as I've gone along, and I've only been collecting pops for about 2 to 3 years. So definitely not an expert by any means. But I was honest. I'm like, yeah, I do, but, you know, within the normal realm of knowledge for pops. And then he asked me if I was comfortable with standing for long periods of time. I completely understood why he asked me that question after I worked this temp job. He asked me if I had customer service experience, blah, blah, blah. I answered everything, and at the end he's like, you're hired. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I did have to tell him though that I wasn't available for Thursday because I had bought a ticket for MegaCon and I had agreed to go with a friend and I wasn't gonna bail. So he was like, okay, and then he just changed the pay. Now, before I continue with this video, I want you guys to know that I did this more for the experience. It's my dream to someday become a collector, like an official collector, someone that buys and sells and maybe will have their own store someday. So I wanted to do this more for like a learning experience to see what it's really like to be an exhibitor in this type of venue. It wasn't really about the pay because when I did the math, the pay was very low minimum wage. It wasn't like I was like, woo, you know, just making cash doing this job. Not really. Realistically, I probably spent more on gas and tolls and parking than I earned, and then the rest on stuff that I bought at MegaCon, which there will be another video for my MegaCon haul. Alright, so continue with the story. So I went on Wednesday. I went in to help the guys. There was 4 of them total, the boss and 3 of his employees. And they had already set up most of the booth. It was just pretty much putting the pops up and just a couple of other small things, plushies, keychains, etc. Their booth was primarily composed of pops. It was like a 180 booth. One side was all the exclusives, vaulted, harder to get pops, and then the other side was all the common pops. On the exclusive side, there was also Gundams and board games and those type of things. And on the regular common pop side, it was the common pops. Then there was plushies, Japanese action figures, some Star Wars action figures, and then both sides had like statue figurines that were being sold. after it was all set up, I went to the con on Thursday. I stopped by the booth. I made a purchase from them, continued on, blah, blah, blah. Then Friday came and I was pretty nervous. It's been a while since I work regular retail, and so I was a bit nervous. They handed me this scanner on a lanyard. They didn't give me a money bag because the owner didn't trust me. I completely understood, was not offended by this. I mean, he doesn't know me. For all he knows, I'm gonna like bolt. So thankfully one of the guys was really nice and he made me my own cash box. Like he took a discarded box and then took another box and cut the flaps to be like separators, and then I could use that and they could see what I was doing. And then if it came to credit card transactions, it was either someone's cell phone or an iPad that they had. So I say so a lot. I tried to have an attitude of like, fake it till you make it. So I wanted to act like I was super comfortable with this situation, even though inside I was mortified because I didn't want to mess up. And I did end up messing up. I was accidentally pressing the wrong button on the scanner. I didn't always press that button, but I would often press it until someone corrected me. And I was so embarrassed. I thought I was going to get yelled at, but they never said anything about it. Like, these guys were so cool. I wish I had co-workers like this in real life. I was nervous for like the first couple of sales, and then after that, you know, we were like goofing around, making each other laugh, dancing, singing, you know, messing with other booths that were close by. It was so much fun. And what really helped me relax was the fact that I wasn't dealing with typical annoying retail customers. And those of you who have worked retail know what I'm talking about. I was dealing with people that have the same interests that I do. So speaking to them was easy, like clicking was easy. Everyone was really nice except for one customer on the last day that decided to call the guy that I was working with a mother plucker. I'm not gonna say the actual word. The guy was just like, for no reason, a jerk. I'm like, if you don't like a price, just move it along, buddy. It was in that situation that I learned that exhibitors actually have the right to take away people's tickets and pretty much have them kicked out of a show. That didn't happen, but one of the other coworkers kind of scared him straight, and the guy just kind of scampered off. After, like I said, after those first purchases, I was like a pro, and the guys were so helpful. I never felt in the way. I totally felt like I was helping. They really seemed to like me. I liked them. They kept saying that it was a shame I didn't live in Michigan, and that if I ever decided to go, to look them up, and blah, blah, blah. It was just a really great experience. I learned a lot. I asked a lot of questions. You know, I wanted to understand how this type of work works, how this type of business works. The downside of it, though, was the standing was legit the most grueling thing I've ever been to. So the other retail work I've had, it's been part-time, and so for the most, I was only standing for 4 hours. Friday and Saturday, I stood a total of 20 hours. By the end of the day, my feet were in so much pain that if I sat and then tried to get up again, I just felt like my legs were gonna plop off. I'm not even joking. It was so excruciating. I would have to come and like dip my feet in hot water to kind of relax everything because it was just so tense and so painful. And usually by the end of the day, we would be alternating seats because there was only one seat on each side of the booth. So we would just like, you know, trade, or someone would sit on a ladder, just like trying to find places to sit. But the boss didn't like us sitting for too long because it didn't look good. Which I have to say I find really ridiculous. I don't think there's anything wrong with employees sitting down as long as they get up when you need help, you know. And even then, I don't care. I've never understood this whole, you know, customer service, you have to be standing and smiling freakishly. Like, let people be people. They're still going to do their job right. So that was the worst. Like, it was so grueling on my legs. And then to top it off, after I would leave the show, I would have to walk to my car because I was parking in a parking lot that was only charging me $5 versus paying the convention's parking, which was $15. I was not about to pay $15 a day because I wasn't making that much in this temp job, right? Another perk, like I'm kind of going back and forth, another perk though was that I got the Exhibitor badge. And this is basically your all access to the convention type of thing. You come in before the people and you leave after the people. The only sucky part though, and I mentioned to one of the guys in the booth, was I kind of wish that the exhibition floor, or like, you know, where they're selling all the stuff floor, would stay open after hours, like maybe 1 hour extra, just to let exhibitors kind of walk around and buy from other exhibitors, because You do. Even when you're there, you want to buy stuff. And the cool thing is that exhibitors give other exhibitors discounts. The only thing that I was able to really buy from another exhibitor was 2 t-shirts. I didn't mention that I was an exhibitor, and I didn't have my tag like up here because it was a regular like pin type way to attach it. I didn't want to puncture any of my shirts. I was trying to be cool and hip by hooking it to my pants loop, like the belt loop. Like, I was trying to be cool, and I would just like put my shirt over it and tuck my shirt behind it so people could see it. But it was low. Luckily for me, when I was buying the shirts, the girl noticed, and she's like, "Oh, you're an exhibitor? Well, you get them for 30, 2 for 30 versus 2 for 50. So I was getting them for $15. I mean, not even at stores are nerdy shirts that cheap. I really wish I could have taken advantage of this on the day that I went to MegaCon, but I wanted to stay honest, and I didn't use my exhibitor pass when I went on Thursday because I could have easily sold my regular day pass and just used this, and no one would have thought anything of it. But I didn't. I just kept the ticket that I didn't even bring it with me that day. But I probably could have gotten a lot of discounts on the stuff that I ended up buying that I will show you guys later. But this was awesome. Like I said, it was just, you have this certain sense of freedom when you're an exhibitor. Like, no one really stops you, no one bothers you, no one really questions anything. You come and go as you please. I think only one morning this one guy asked me something and I was like, what? And then I moved on. That other security guard's like, did he not see your exhibitor pass? And I'm like, I know, right? Like, why is he giving me so much crap? But that was really the only instance of someone kind of not knowing what this meant. I'm like, it says it right there. It says exhibitor. Another downside was probably things like lunchtime. I did get breaks. I managed to bring food for the first 2 days, but for the last 2 days, I ended up having to buy food at the con. And food at the con is expensive and it's disgusting. And it was only because I didn't want to go too far. Not only because my feet were in such excruciating pain, but because everything around was kind of far and not that great of an option either. I think the closest thing was like a McDonald's and a Dunkin' Donuts, and I didn't want that. So the food at the con was disgusting. That's definitely a downside. It's just, they don't really have any better choices for the exhibitors. I kind of wish they did, but whatever. Like I said, it was just a really great experience. If you are into any nerd culture type of thing, if you enjoy collecting, if you enjoy working retail or have dreams of someday having your own business, I definitely recommend that if you're able to, you know, help a table out for MegaCon. Or any con for that matter, because it's just a really different experience. It's just so fast paced, and I don't know how to explain it. It was really, really great. I think the only thing that made me miserable, besides the standing of course, was just how far I had to commute, because the convention center is located much closer to like the theme parks, and most people don't really live in that area. Most people live kind of more spread out, and Orlando's very big. Things are a lot further than they may seem to people. I live in like far more east. And so the commute and the pain in my feet were the only thing that made me miserable. But I would totally do it again. And everything went great all the days. The guys really liked me. They made mention that perhaps I could be their person that helps out whenever they come to MegaCon, because this was their first show. They're definitely planning on coming back again. And I was like, yeah, hit me up. Of course, if I have an actual job, you know, fingers crossed that I do, I won't be able to. Oh, and I did mention that there was supposed to be another person. She did come on Saturday. She was supposed to be there Saturday and Sunday. She came Saturday, but while she was really nice, she wasn't a good fit, and the boss apparently asked her not to come back. Like, I got to leave, and he didn't ask her to come back. She looked nervous and wasn't trying to have like a good repertoire with the guys, and I'm telling you, that made the whole thing just so much better. But she got to keep her exhibitor pass, which hopefully she took advantage and came back the following day. I mean, you get to come in for free. Just do it. And that's it. I don't know if this helped anyone. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. I am not an expert about getting this type of job. Obviously, the owner came to us. It wasn't like I was emailing people like, are you gonna be at MegaCon? Do you need help? Which, it's not a bad idea, actually. That actually is not a bad idea at all. If you're really interested, you could always email people asking if they need any people to come help. I don't know if anyone's going to reply. They might think you're just crazy, but you could try it. So yeah, just a really great experience. Any questions, please leave them below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!